Dapat AK dong.
Gue pikir
Aduh, gue kira kawan lo yang buka pintu lo. Gue liat lagi kok teror.
babi bener, gue gak nyangka di B-shot anjir.
Pojok, pojok.
Kena geng bang. Ayo bentar silau nih.
Anjing bisa begini.
Boy kah?
Eko dulu, Eko lah.
Mengendok aja kali ya di sini.
Si anjing rame.
B.
Ah bang. Tuh connect.
Bokal lu Kasmir.
Kasmir siapa?
Setup weh. Ah. Banyak banget.
Long one.
Anjing masih, wah konek satu
Nice.
babi. Nungguin lu anjing.
Buset, pala terus anjing.
Bangsat banget satu nungguin anjing.
Bocah tulis asli ya.
Flash.
Konektor satu ya. Di konektor.
Di smoke.
Buka tutup konektor. Mau keluar dari konektor. Satu lagi.
Ada lagi, muncul.
Ah, tai.
Sorry, lagi isi peluru.
Nice.
Lagi 10 bahasa lu bir. Ngokang maksudnya bir.
Lo dalam lagi.
Ada tuh.
Naik connect ya.
Konektor satu.
Balon.
Belum mati.
Ih, babi.
Mati satu. Balon
Satu
lagi.
lagi, satu lagi balon. Pala kurang.
Gue retreat.
Itu pojok.
Apa lagi?
Itu mati anjir di situ mah. Posisi mati anjir.
Tadi ya.
Bisa connect sih cek.
Ada liatin connect.
Tadi balon lasin.
Ini bisa connect. Atau elong.
Ilong juga ya.
Bilang gua pantai.
Sabar banget.
Di A tuh. Shot.
Shot.
Turun dia.
Masuk dia ya.
Shot lagi.
Siap pojok siap.
Udahlah. Jaga tete.
Low ya.
Udah di truk ya? Udah di truk.
Udah beli truk dia.
Kiri lu cek.
Yang mau?
Main lama banget dah. Capek gua.
Mega Pogosipong.
Oh salah. Ada tuh phone kan.
Eko mereka?
Ah bangsa.
Connect.
Background.
Connect lo.
Balon ada yang dapat AK kayaknya.
Yang mau ke B dia.
Ih babi.
Tiga.
Playground tuh.
Jago amat ya.
Ada suara bilang, Bray.
Cek.
Kayak di sini nih.
Dibilang.
Bilang ya. Iya, bilang sini, Bray.
Nice.
Bilang Mas.
Pindah gak sih kok?
Biar dia juga nggak tahu gue di mana, dia kan nggak liat gue.
Kelihatan itu.
Ya itu dia keluar kanan.
Kaget aing. Bisa. Bakar ya. Terlalu jauh kalau dari situ bakarnya. Taing. 37 doang udah. Habis dulu. Mahal AWP gua anjing.
Kita bertiga di atas tuh kayak angka setan 666.
Wah, setan orang gue. Gak ada mau kebi gak?
Nice.
Ada tuh B tuh. Fix you.
Gua di konektor. Lagi.
Fix you.
Di balon. Bangkik.
Nice.
Fix you. Kasih itu tuh. Kaum duafa.
Siapa lembab?
Iya.
Terima kasih.
Decoy. Laying down smoke. Throwing flashbang. Throwing smoke.
Ini pelan banget anjir.
Oh.
Ya?
Kok muncul Kopik sini kok. Dari water.
Gak ada.
Lembab dapat mulu loh.
Stay aja, stay.
Satu lagi.
Kita
Grenade. Smoke. Throwing flashbang.
Babi. 58. Balon kok. Ada satu lagi balon. Satu lagi 58.
Aka bukan ya. Lain Aka.
Investasi lu jadi kill kok, tenang kok.
Let's go. Laying down smoke.
kena flash gua.
Throwing fire. Throwing smoke. Deploying
Throwing fire.
Masuk juga situ ya.
Mengendap-ngendap dia.
Ih babi 75. Gak mati lagi. Kayak emang gua harus diinvest kok biar kill.
Bodong ya.
Mungkin short.
75.
Ada nih, siapa yang lempar tuh?
Tahu ya lagi.
Tahu lu dia.
Satu lagi low berarti.
Back ah.
Nah, mati satu sih.
Mati satu, B.
Gua puterin aja mobil ini.
Dia tahu ya gue di situ.
Wah,
Ada.
Toilet.
Toilet. Langsung
Langsung
sini.
drop di gua.
Itu balik lagi ke konek dong ya. Hati-hati dari bank.
Bisa muter ke elong dia, hati-hati.
Nembak apa? Nggak mungkin dia muter kelong anjing. Hati-hati weh sini weh.
City.
Oh ini.
Nge-save.
Tuh ada suaranya tuh.
Toilet.
Low kan.
AWP.
Lima aja dia orangnya.
Bangsat gak pick lagi loh.
Tenma bagi dong Tenma.
Anjir kamarnya pelan banget ya.
Makanya.
Pelan banget.
Capek kan.
Tenma duit banyak. Tadi mah Tenma aja yang kasih.
Gimana lah.
Bagi burung.
16.000 full anjir.
Weh apa sih tabrak-tabrak ngehe?
Molotov. Incendiary out.
BB.
Grenade out. Throwing fire.
Belum. Gagal masuk deh.
Throwing smoke.
Rata melembab anjing. Bilang.
Enggak dapet lagi angle gua.
Itu dapat.
Flashbang.
Swing. Satu lagi.
Flashbang. Flashbang.
Bangsat, 87.
Fix ya ini saya. Bomnya.
Ben, pancing Ben.
Saya nggak tahu.
Bomnya udah kelihatan bomnya.
Belum.
Di sini. Bukan deh, kuning.
Throwing flashbang.
Sampai.
Throwing fire.
Oh ya ngepleng.
Ya lagi lu.
Gak ada.
Ngepleng nggak dia?
Oh Didi, connect.
Konek katanya.
Connect. Kelihatan tak jadi.
Flashbang.
Dia keluar.
Nolak amat lu. Di mana dia?
Konek.
Ujung.
Anjing nggak mau mati.
Nggak mau turun aja. Kayak nyari tikus gak?
Tak ada uang mereka.
Ya dan berak dah mukanya.
Elok.
Playground. Playground rame.
Ada yang main connect kan?
Gua connect.
Twist mati.
Ada flash gak? Atau ada yang flash mau?
Maksudnya gimana? Nggak ada orang, Bray. Sepi dagangan. Konten.
Rame Bray. Low dua-duanya.
Wah, toilet. Nice.
Kalau lo mau bison-bisonan lo. Win, tabungan lu bisa nambah, Win.
Kenapa?
Mentok tabungan lu segitu.
Nggak tahu, udah limitin aja. Pinjol kali ya.
Molotov. Throwing smoke. Throwing flashbang.
Nice.
Ranger keras, bos.
Ada satu lagi konektor.
Deploying flashbang.
Ayo Pak, let's go.
Throwing flashbang.
Butain. Nggak ada, wih. Bisa clear.
Hold aja. Ini connect.
Bisa clear shot.
Elok juga clear.
Grenade out.
Lagi di connect dan angkring aja. Udah ketahuan, cek. Muskir.
Gantian lah sini, bus sini.
Tawan, bang.
Enggak ketahuan.
Lu yang naik.
Gak dapet angle-nya guys. Kurang.
Throwing smoke.
Kalau Angel nggak dapet, cinya lah Jubel. Win, katanya nggak dapet angle-nya, Win. Kalau gue bilang, mending kalau nggak dapet angle-nya, cinya Jubel.
Lagi. Shoot. Toilet. Elok, arah elok.
3-1 anjing.
Arah elok. Tadi di arah elok.
Kuncinya juga sih, cek.
Selebel.
Kenapa harus incinya bangke?
Flashbang.
Ini bagus.
Bui dong, daripada lu nggak kurang tuh.
Biar Angelnya nyesel, nolak lu.
Kita sodok pantatnya pakai flash.
Bui,
Nggak
gua,
bombak
Bui.
lah.
Sini Bui.
Ah, pakai tuh.
Nih,
Kita rifle gaming aja.
Throwing fire. Flashbang. Smoke.
ada
Di
tuh.
semua kan di flash.
Throwing a grenade.
Butain.
Di B.
Deploying flashbang.
Masuk. Nice.
Bom drop ya.
Woi, udah mangsa, woi. Udah gue tembak dari awal.
Minta jatah dong.
Minta aja.
Preman, bos.
Oh.
Stay frosty.
Stay frosty.
Throwing fire.
Ya,
Flashbang. Throwing.
ada lagi.
Laying down smoke.
Gak ada duit ya dia.
Smoking.
Konektor satu.
Grenade. Throwing fire.
Woi,
Konektor satu masih.
si kocak.
Ya.
Ya, teman kita mati guys.
Kurang sekali.
Terkejar-kejar ya.
Masih dalam apa ya? Anchor.
Lagi sini masuk. Mati deh.
Throwing flashbang.
Hacker.
Anchor.
Gila anjir gak kena goblok.
Tertangkap CCTV.
Elong.
Mau gue tusuk cek?
Cucuk.
Ya.
Gas.
Dia nengok anjir.
Lihat dia guys.
Mas Ran.
Mas Kasmir yang Elon Mas KW.
Time to earn our stories. Flashbang. Throwing flashbang. Incendiary out. Throwing smoke.
Hello.
Elok.
Itu dia buang apa namanya? Dicoy.
Rame cuy 2 dibilang beber di sini.
Oh nggak fake doang berarti.
Eh,
Berapa
gila,
Kasmir?
Gua nggak tahu udah di mana, kayak gua udah bilang matinya.
Bangke.
Babi.
Orang kebakar gua anjing.
Kocak anjing.
Bener kenapa ya?
Menyebar anjing api.
Cloud or kick.
Deploying flashbang.
2.
Ketek semua lu.
Yang satu kagak kok.
Yang kiri enggak ya?
Kayak agak pura komplek nih.
Flashnya di atasnya dia bang nggak kena.
Kasmir yang terjerami. Weh, James Bond weh.
Punya armor ambil tuh.
Ngapain James Bond?
Cih,
Lebih jago udah pakai Glock aing.
James Bond gacor gini lu. Save aja flashnya kayak.
Dua. Satu lagi.
Gimana?
Iya.
Bang,
Biar
ini
pojokan. James Bond.
kayak nyaru anjir itemnya. Tai.
Ada ketak.
Waduh.
Backshot. Truk.
Flash win. Belakang. Debul gopek.
Mbak lu sendiri lu.
Tetep gak ada ya kan. Teka-teki silang. Ya gak? Asu lu ya, mencari peperangan lu ya. Gua gak ada niat gua. Tapi karena Anda membuat saya ada niat, saya membasmi Anda. Saya masuk ke B-shotnya nih, gua flash B-shot nih.
Throwing flashbang. Flashbang out.
Start hit. Nice.
Let's go.
Water.
Bawa pintu.
Anjing, bisa ada. Water masih ada, Cok.
Plus.
Si bangke muter. Gue tuh di water dan muter ke belakang gua.
Gua kagak di water, Cok.
Tadi perasaan deket toxic di kanan jadi muter.
Yang di toxic si Ko Erik.
Gua baru masuk, lu jangan blame gua anjing.
Kagak bener.
Dia muter anjir. Gua lah mau ngeplan gak jadi, gak dia muter mati gua.
Gua baru masuk, Cok.
Kenapa suara si Erwin double anjing?
Gua bisa smoke heaven.
Tuh kan Ko Erik kan.
Lah kan gua dari B-shot. Ada Win, biasa Win. Dia perkonek ya.
Kill tuh koneknya weh.
Wah, gua flash. Kocak.
54.
Bangke, pada lari.
Babi. Goblok lagi. Ah, kalah lagi goblok AK anjing.
Short. Short connect.
Belakang lu.
Itu dia tuh.
Connect weapon. Kayak langsung itu.
Good.
Lompat dong.
Ih, gak mati loh dia.
Ada. Ada kayak langsung semua bener anjing.
Siapa yang cinta pada temannya di drop Deagle?
Hidupnya.
Dan, this one. Udah,
Terima gaji.
gak mau.
Udah punya.
Deploy.
Kepala nih orang. Ah, dua aja. Dua
Anjingnya dua.
Dua. Dipus deket banget itu.
Upper connect naik.
Nice. Mati gak sih itu kok?
Mati lah.
Waduh, ada satu lagi.
Anjing. 62 twist. Twist lo, Bre.
Kanan lo ada, deket.
Anjing satu pelornya nyaris gak dapet lu.
Tenang.
Satu di B-shirt tadi.
Ada senjata ya dia.
Ada. Rame. Ambil.
Aku cinta.
Ayo. Save lah. Anak jantan nge save.
Satu side oper.
Lawan lah. Beng.
Udah nggak usah ngomong di ini, Cek. Nggak usah ngomong.
Masih berdua.
Udah lu tinggal berdua ngomong, ngapain di CS anjing? Double suaranya.
Siapa yang double? Domain dulu kita ngomong double.
Susah YouTuber. TRS.
YouTuber.
YouTuber TRS marah-marah mulu.
Ya lagi orang udah tinggal berdua ngomong.
Cewek itu
di-
TRS.
Itu jebir.
Mau gimana bang? Ntar dia abis nge-kill lu di off streaming dia. Bibir ragu.
Aduh. Ngebus men.
Babi kena satu hit doang.
Temen gue juga kalah lagi.
Anjing AWP datang abang-abangannya.
Bisa guys, clutch king. Belakang ini.
Biar bagus streamingnya aja biar. Ada gedung atau.
Gua nggak streaming, gua.
Neng tinggal sini orang kaya nih.
Lang intipin orang ngewe di situ.
Kelihatan emang.
Datang.
Aduh, twist.
Berapa tuh kena damage tuh twist?
Twitch
Nggak
kena sama
ada.
gua. Twitch kena sama gua 39 tadi, Ju.
Kayak dia berhasil nge-sway. Oh, given to Quen. Twist nggak ada.
Ayo. Bishotnya flashin, Bishotnya flashin. Dia ngebus ya. Flash Bishot ya.
Oh, gagal cek.
Itu berhasil. Mana nggak ada?
Ada berarti nggak main ya. Yang penting kita udah kontrol Bishopnya slow.
Semoknya udah 2 kali dibuang.
Kolektornya ada orang.
Wah, bus.
Babi. Dua
Ah, ini kait.
water sama toxic, water toxic. Kanan lu ada kayaknya kok itu.
Bir, sabar dulu lah, Bir.
Ada.
Dia pasti engas mau nge-pick.
Tidak gila anjing.
Weh, tolongin gua dong. Kerja.
Gimana dia?
Gua kepencet tiga.
Bicet.
Bareng tuh syuk.
Kejadian
Kena. Di koksik satu.
Aku bukanlah super. Bangsat. Halo, makasih Piran.
dipus.
Ya. Cewek. Tadi dia balik lagi anjing. Twist.
Cari 14 yuk. Ngerus.
Cari 14.
Naiknya 2 biasanya.
kiri nggak dapet anjing. Yang main
Babi. Connect push.
konten ada yang suka main konten gak sih?
Butaing.
Connect push, hati-hati belakang.
Koneknya naik katanya Win. Waduh,
Woi.
nggak kelihatan gua. Mama. Nyangkut lagi, tau gak ini? Buset, dia dari jauh kelihatan lu twist.
Kandangin main begini.
Grupi.
Ada yang suka ngepusin kontennya gak sih mereka?
Iya ada. Ada bang.
Wah, oke.
Katakan oke.
Koneknya tahan, kita masukin kontennya.
Katakan oke.
Begitu kita bisa dapat, kita kill. Nice.
Flashbang out.
Kon.
Bakar.
Gak ada kan?
Ada. Di kanan patah. Cek kanan nih. Udah itu yang kanan.
Paket gua bangke.
Flash ya.
Nice.
Ya.
Pakai loncat.
Aduh.
Masuk nih aja nih.
Di itu biar di B. Naik ya.
Tadi masih di side sih.
Cek konektor ya Win. Babi 61.
Dekat heaven atas dia.
Heaven atas.
Ada satu mau. Dia smoke mana itu?
Nice shot.
Gue pikir dia smoke diffuse anjir.
Smoke di kiri soalnya.
Ada dua.
Flashbang out.
Shot ada dua shot.
Ada 2 di toilet.
Ya kan gue bilang 2.
Bangsat, nggak mati koneknya.
Ngambil bom.
Aneh ambil.
Oke.
Satu konek ya. Udah kehit banyak dia.
Ih babi. Kelihatan lu.
Baper.
Nge-lag amat gua ini.
Mock shot aja bisa gak?
Shot. Tuh. Gua bilang Win.
Konektor nggak ada yang lihat.
Heaven.
Even 2 kaki. ABC.
ABC banyak ya.
Banyak kaki. Nice.
Wah,
Cek bau. Water kok.
low banget kok. Pistolnya.
Geding. Pistol.
Anjing.
Dia terbang sampai dia jatuh, gua kagak kill dia dong.
Sadar lu, Cek.
Aneh banget, Cok. Gua, Cok.
Ada lu.
Guys, I tell you, we kill them all.
Dia rush care. Left flash ya.
Flashbang.
Butaing.
Di WC sih biasanya.
Nggak ada konek.
Ada.
Toilet.
Ada.
Ada ya?
Toilet kosong. Bre, bus bre.
Sabar.
Gue jaga konek.
Bisa. Flashing.
Bangsat dari belakang balon.
Truk.
Balon.
Aduh, 2. Truk 1, beng 1.
Bisa gak? Truk lah.
Truk lah.
Gak mau keluar si anjing.
Gua beli Scott aja enggak anjir. Beli Scott lu.
Karena lu mati, Cok. Gak pegang senjata. Apakah lawannya burung? Burung saudara-saudara. Si Kashmir ini anjir Supreme leader.
Keren juga di Kashmir.
Salah lu gua. Malah gue ngimpit lo. Ngimpit tuis anjir.
2 kali menang lawan Curacao Indonesia gacor.
Berapa? Yang tadi.
2-1.
Anjay.
Dimas Derajat sih imba amat ini Dimas Derajat anjay.
Impit.
Dimas Wibusono.
Impit. Gue belum temenan sama si Arabian Reza nih.
Dendi
Send request
Sulistiawan.
Dendi
send friend request kok.
di Payana.
Acap.
Gue nggak kill di Tero cuma 4 biji aja.
Surplus 23.
Apa Bir? Cuma kill berapa?
4 biji di Tero. Wih, map kesukaan aku Erik.
Biji lo.
Lu juga biji gua.
Mapnya biji lo ini.
Ih, bukan dia lagi. Jago nih.
Gak bisa kan.
Bacot dia.
Wah, ketagihan udah jadi James Bond. Harap.
Siapa itu lempar
Udah kita dong,
molotov?
Rap.
Yang lempar molotov siapa itu?
Under Palace, weh.
Anjir, di seter bangke.
Cibe nggak mati kan?
Ya.
Wah, gua udah berkorban buat cum.
Gak ada ekin lagi profile picture-nya. Koko Max. Koko Max. Profile picture ngetawain semua gitu. Oranye, biru.
Tawain kuning itu koma head.
Kemarin.
Babi itu orang nge-cheat itu anjing.
Dah bos. Under Palace.
Flare.
Keluar kelihatan.
Kelihatan kah?
Kelihatan kayaknya.
Domin anjing.
Sakit itu orang tuh.
Kata Jibril nge-cheat Win. Dia Win.
Pala nih mau gue mid ini.
Gue tutupin biar nggak kena kepala.
Ini orang global elite deh.
Nggak kena lagi. Oh,
Aduh.
di connect sama di Bishop ada, Cok.
Under Palace.
Babi.
Udah Bir kita dong Bir. Kok dia punya AK?
Dibeli AK lu.
Anjir gak mudah loh.
Gak ada
Satu gitu loh,
satu
wes.
juga.
Satu gitu loh. Tuh dapat di AK.
Enggak.
Dapat gak sih?
Enggak.
Come on, let's go. Throwing smoke.
Nah gak tuh? Kayak kena deh.
Global elite guys maksudnya.
Bangsat dia di
Bishop,
situ
Bishop
yang
ada,
nggak
Bishop.
jelas.
Bishop ada.
Ke rata semua weh. Aduh.
Bangsat.
Ya diambil lah gua.
Come on, let's go.
Bangsat di kiri. Anjing emin kiri bangke.
Aduh, Makino.
Tai, under palace.
Tinggal di
Berapa
belakang luar
lu?
Peles weh.
Terata kita 5-0.
Baru 5-0 Bir, main pernah 10-0.
Let's move. Flashbang.
Anjir lah.
Dar gue sekarang.
Jungle satu.
Babi, kena 86 doang kagak mati anjing. Sniper nest-nya 86.
Aduh. Maaf cek.
Satu lo cek si snipernya lo.
Gue pengen buat lead cek. City 1 tuh. Oh enggak tuh. Dia nge-fake doang. Ngepar itu.
Smoke di push.
Dilepas.
Soalnya temennya syarat. Nah satu peluru ya itu tadi cek mati tuh si AWP-nya tuh.
Siapa sih yang AWP-nya? Gue nggak hit si Makino sih. Sorry dah.
Weh, flashin dong.
Weh setup aja yuk setup weh. Main nggak ada setup di sini dong.
Combo saya nih.
Nah, ke depan dia anjing. Aduh, kena granat aing.
Dia bisa di kiri ya, hati-hati. Gue smoke aja itu. Masuk flash.
Ada smoke,
Flash.
Bok dulu weh.
ada smoke, ada smoke.
Flash.
Aduh, flash siapa ini?
Step. Bisa plat.
Ih anjing kok kelihatan sih bangsat ya itu ya.
Bisa plat.
Aduh,
Iya, gue jaga city.
Step.
Tuh udah turun guys.
bisa.
Aduh, gue pick terus anjing.
Wah, oke. Iya.
Ya ada di city cek.
Goreng di sini. Aneh, aneh tuh denger suara ngejedak tuh. Kebetulan si Erwin deket-deket sandwich. Aneh pikir itu si Erwin, nggak tahu.
Di sandwich.
Goblok juga lagi, kagak kena kepala. Main cepet aja nih, smoke window-nya masukin apaan?
Big shot.
Anjir, tahu.
Ih bangsat. Cek di ladder.
Langsung keluar dong anjing. Gue berharap yang jungle yang gue loncat.
Gila apa tidak pecah-pecah telur, cok.
Jago banget dah musuhnya. Anjir, dia nggak mati lagi.
Dapetin 5 nah, paling enggak zero.
7.
Ada tuh di connect.
Bangsat.
WP, AWP.
Ah, one way mulu, one way.
Ah, babi.
Di mana tadi?
P-shot satu.
Biasanya suka di ladder.
Ladder
Ada.
cat.
Dari city tadi.
Ah,
Kalau nggak lu flash udah mati tuh.
Aduh, pindah-pindah palanya anjing. Karena ini flash connect.
Iya dia jadi
Ya kan gua
mundur gara-gara lu flash.
Gimana lu? Berkat.
Gue kira dia pick bish. Gue di bawah.
Aduh, kemana ya?
Bial. Cuma yang terbira.
B-nya WP, cok.
Makino ini.
Makin tat. Buset, dia bisa gerak ke sini gak anjing? Di push mid-nya.
Sabar gua ambil bom.
nice.
Bisa ke A sih, woi. Halo. Tuh, satu di B tuh. Tiket.
Anjing. Bang, kaget gua.
Low banget. 27 doang aja.
Di shot.
Ya.
Jadi menang.
Di mana Cibangke itu?
Di shot satu.
Ya City lo kabur ya.
Info dong.
Babi. Kosong anjir, dia nangis.
Siapa yang dia bilang wall?
Siapa gua? Babi nggak kena anjing lah. Nice.
Underpass satu nih.
Udah dong, gue jadi telur. Udah si Dre lah.
Iya.
3 biji ya.
Nembak naik mati. Gila dikasih 0, cowok. Dia sabar deh, main lama deh. Mereka ini kita mulu, culik-culik.
Setup.
Bangke nggak kena. Babi dipush bangsat.
Weh, anjing kaget gua. Ya udah di situ dong. Baru ini status biru lu.
Terasa ya.
22 second anjir.
Orang ini memang bodoh deh.
Iya aja yuk, coba yuk.
Udah ada bisa.
Flashbang out. Smoke's out.
Ayo woi, nyangkut woi.
Bakar sih.
Tidak.
One. Nih. Babi.
Ada orang dong.
Dikasih plan.
Ngandok ke tai.
Bomb has been defused. Counter-terrorists win. Going global.
Ya, pas gua turun.
Di push deh ini ya nih.
Anjing, anjing.
Nggak dapetnya nggak seperti.
12-0.
Oh bukan orang Indo ini mah. Dia cuma tahu ngatain Indo doang. Dia juga nggak boleh nge-push.
Recording in progress.
And I think that was another key
Fine,
piece. And the last thing I'll say is, it takes time to get here, but if you're methodical about it, think about those core data products, those reusable products that you want your organization to use. It allows people to experiment more, it allows you to provide other organizations
shit.
where to consume
Ngedrop
those
ke?
data products. But more importantly, it allows you to drive, consistent incremental improvement and management of those products as well.
Pushing, pushing pala.
Definitely see it throughout data
11-0.
practitioners. The good news is I think we're all getting much more sympathetic both on the technology and business side because even as our economic environment changes, people still need to be able to calculate and measure efficiency regardless of whether the market's going up or down. So as I said, it's always a pleasure to hear Stephen run through things today. As we learned a few things, I've got some questions from later about how he thinks about some of his organizational planning. So
Dia one
I'll
way.
pass it back to you, Mick.
Awesome.
Udah gua juga.
With that, we'll move to our
Anjing, anjing.
topic for discussion, which is on the distinctions that are talked about a lot at school. Data creation versus data exhaust. So clarity is I guess set the scene here. When we refer to data exhaust, what we're speaking to is the necessity for many teams, data teams across the world, of making do with the data they might extract from various SaaS tooling in the business, for the purpose of actually delivering on usually quite bespoke data applications downstream. This often has the
Kira nggak ada sampai
cost
10 kita
problems
semua.
around rectifying opinionated data and adjusting it to your own needs, and trying to successfully adopt that data again with their own requirements. So data creation as a paradigm then is in contrast. It's referring to the ability for brands to deliberately create data they need for their applications. So my first question here along these lines is for Stephen. In your view, how does the difference in approach between data exhaust and data creation impact the dimensions of data quality?
More video.
Yeah, so in terms of where we originally came from, like back in 2015, let's say, what we were looking at was like Hadoop and creating this one big data. In terms of the dimensions of data quality, the first one is accuracy. Like if you wanted to track where did the user go in the funnel, like first touch and last touch attributes.
Lebih dikatain.
Well, for
Gua nggak pernah ngomong apa-apa
accuracy,
gitu.
because it's big data, the analyst or the data practitioner is not even to know where to go, where to start, or what metrics to use to get that accurate picture. And in terms of if you're not doing unit tests and not executing unit tests, you're not going to have that. So where we moved to with Snowflake and Snowplow, we have enabled that accuracy by actually running a set of unit tests on the data that we created. In terms of completeness then, you want to create lookup tables to make sure that all values are present. And you want to have some sort of process
Kita nggak boleh kalah anjir.
on the completeness of your data.
Seri.
For example,
Seri aja nggak boleh kalah kita.
reservation information contains a geo identifier, and your lookup table for location doesn't have that. Well, then your data is incomplete because you're unable to report how many reservations against that particular location. In terms of constraints and rules, for some pieces of data, you want to be able to constrain the range. For example, a car rental costing $1 million is unlikely to happen. So you need to be able to alert that something is wrong in the pipelines that are processing this. In terms of interpretability, can the analyst interpret the data and draw accurate conclusions? Well, that depends on data meaning and data understanding, and having that data dictionary in place and data model to be able to describe what data is available. Accessibility. Can the people who want access to the data, can they use it? For example, the restrictions on PII information, do we have access to that data? Or how do we tackle PII information in the system? And the last is the quality of the information. Is it credible? Are we running data quality reports and continuously acting on those data quality reports to improve that information and to share it with the individual data owners?
Last game ga.
Awesome, great answer.
Malu berakhir di pantai 16-2 kok anjing.
If you do have your own thoughts or questions,
Itu kita harus mengakhirinya.
just fire it in the Q&A box, and we'll have one of the guys get to it. In the meantime, Stephen, another one for you. Can you tell me a little bit about how Car Trawler today are collecting and democratizing the data that you collect?
Yeah, so I think in terms of data collection, what we're trying to do is, well, we're trying to bring the data from all the individual source systems. Like if I have financial data, if I have customer data, if I have chat and AI data, I want to bring it all together. But not only that, with Snowplow, we're able to record behavioral information, like how did the user progress through a booking funnel. So if we bring all those components together, we're able to accurately paint a picture of what the user actually did and what those implications are in the background in terms of let's say the costs or developing the unit margin. In terms of democratizing the data, what we've done is we've developed a self-service capability, and that self-service capability helps to actually keep our data meaning and data understanding up to date. So what people can do, in our analysts and data practitioners in our organization can do, is they can go into the reporting tool and they can actually type in data descriptions against what they see, and that information and metadata is captured and brought back into the single source of truth. So whether we're reporting or whether we're running SQL, we can actually see those data descriptions everywhere. in terms of some of the other points around collection of data, is trying to deliver that data back in a timely manner. So with
Anjing,
Snowplow,
16.2.
we're able to bring the behavioral data in near real time into Snowflake.
Barca
And the other
dibantai
source
Bayern
systems
Munchen
were
2 kali
able
lipat, anjir.
to bring all that together. At the moment, it's near real time, so it's about 10 to 15
Orang
minutes
Indo nih,
latency
orang Indo
on
nih.
everything to bring it all together into the single source of truth.
Namanya kacau tuh.
From that, we can derive value, and we can identify what's happening in our booking funnels in near real time and take action where required. We have a flexible data model, so with Snowplow, they have actually given us the capability to report against page views, sessions, and users. But we have taken that a step further and linked that data model into the rest of the information that comes from other parts of the business. In the future, we do intend to use the real-time capability of being able to develop a pipeline for Snowplow, but we're just not there yet because there's other things that we have to tackle with the pipelines that we currently have.
Awesome, thank you, Stephen. Nick,
Ya,
over
gua,
to
jatah
you.
gua.
In your experience,
Granat,
how
granat.
are organizations dealing
Aku
with
sungguh
exhaust data?
cinta.
Yeah, I think we're
Win.
when I speak to organizations around
I love
how
you.
to get information or get data that can become information, what often happens is you build a large number of
Bangke,
pipelines,
bangke.
and there's nothing wrong with that. It's
Hello,
been
Ramen.
for a long time, but you have to make certain assumptions upstream
Majuin.
of that data. And the assumption is you don't quite know how it was created. You don't quite know the structure of that data.
Babi,
You don't
babi.
quite know the accuracy of the data. There's just so much you don't know, right? But it's a start. It's sort of, in some ways, it feels good because you see this data flow in, but I think that's the beginning of the anxiety, because then you have to figure out what this data means and is it accurate, and then how do you actually make this usable for the rest of the
Di
organization.
karko.
And
Matikan,
so,
matikan.
Matikan.
for the longest
Oh,
time,
ada satu lagi.
we've built these ETL or ELT pipelines.
Dua Elong.
And they become part of our data.
Chung.
But I think more recently we've talked a lot about how do we think about the
jam
lineage
shit
of
dia.
that data? How do we observe that
Tidak
anomalies in that data? So increasingly, putting so much infrastructure around how do we extract and transform that
Tumpah,
data
marah, Erwin.
that, a lot of the organizations are saying, okay, is that return on all that
Dah,
effort
kebeli
worth it
semua,
versus
bangsat.
us just starting to generate our own versions of data to our own
Harus pakai tamat itu.
data structure and data grammar. And I think when
Ada nih, Elong.
you take that tipping point,
babi.
one is the data grammar. The
Elong
data
lagi, banyak,
grammar
elong,
that
elong, banyak.
belongs to the organization. And then the advantage of this step is then
Mati
the
tembak.
data you could have versus being the primary
Ya, 16-0 lagi nih kita.
ingredient to your data models. It can be supplemented to your core data model, which is the data you're creating specifically
Ada.
around your business. And that allows a couple key things to
Bangsat.
One is that more of the organization will naturally understand your data.
16-0 lagi nih, mah.
Data structure that represents your business. And you heard Stephen sort of talk about this, about having a dynamic data structure that was able to evolve as he
Masa gue udahan tuh tadi tuh.
and that's really
Cek
Yang 16-2 daripada
the key sort of
16-0.
thing that we
Cek.
hear from customers that have made this
Cek
shift
guys,
to sort of,
apa ini apa
what I
firasat
call
gue buruk
data
nah.
first versus data
Anjay.
centric. So data is their first port of call.
Kalau
And once they've sort of created that data, they then look at where
Ini
they
rumah
can grab
juga
other sources of
Weh,
data.
Bi, tolong Pak. Rame banget, Bi.
And then the other thing that
Dibalik-balik.
we see customers doing with
Palo dia,
data
anjir.
is you begin to look for more ways of validating that data upstream or downstream.
Top mid dun.
And again, what ends up happening is you put more and more sort of
Oh, masuk tips,
supplementary
bangke.
infrastructure around it. And what we often
Ya,
find is
RNG mulu
that
dari
in
tadi.
some ways that can be more expensive, more complex than simply being able to
Badan. Dikit juga kena itu sengit.
Bangsat orang tiba-tiba muncul.
Because in the ELT space, ETL space, we've always
Kalau mati bilang
have to
bangsat
inherit
dong.
someone else's data structure. It's
Tiba-tiba
just part of
muncul
your
babi
export data
ini.
from Salesforce. You get Salesforce's data structure, and so that is a huge amount of effort to kind of turn that into something usable. So rather than having an initial pain, what you can go from, as opposed to sort of
Flashing.
schema first and schema second, you kind of go to your schema always, and that really sort of sets
Bela
up
lagi
the
kayaknya.
approach, which means that you can still leverage data exhaust for aggregating, for
Iya,
interpolating,
dong satu.
but that complexity that customers find from being
Yo, kok dia tahu ya?
only
Gak masuk akal sih.
third party or
Mit
data adds probably a
Mit
more
masuk.
significant and
Babi, babi.
invest in tooling and systems, but also
Udah dalam semua, udah dua-duanya dalam. Dua-duanya
Kayak
dalam.
acara peluru-pelurunya cuma
it's like a
20 bangsat ya.
cognitive load for switching through
Lu
lots
apa
of data
satu?
structures to get
Portfolio.
to getting there. And it's hard
Yang
to
dia satu.
explain like that cognitive task, but I think it's pretty high. Like most
nice.
data structures to get to one. I don't know. I think you can kind of keep 4 or 5 in your head. Before it starts getting a little too
Wah, menang udah
more caffeine. And so that cognitive load, I think, also adds to the distress that some people feel. Right? Like it's really hard to keep 400 some people can do it, but I'm not one of them. And so I think that's also why. When we look at these data extraction, a lot of the solutions are trying to simplify it down, and that's why we
Sayang, nih sayang, empor buat
we
kamu
see our
sayang.
customers sort of taking control of that to be masters of their own destiny.
Awesome, thank you, Nick. No questions in the chat. It's a very shy bunch we've got on today, which is fine. Stunned by your answers, guys. We'll move to the third point of discussion. So we've established the
Right,
between
we
the
pairing
ability
it.
to create data and have this master schema always. Stephen, with that in mind,
Babi.
let's go back. I know you referenced this in some light detail before, but let's talk about how you're actually leveraging behavioral data today and how that's actually driving business value for you.
Kocak asik gitu.
Dia lompat sih anjing, aku mati
How
sekali.
we're leveraging some of that behavioral data.
Dia kaget liat gua di situ.
As I mentioned before,
Right.
what we can do is like customers are coming through multiple channels. Let's say, for example, they could
Drop
they
deh.
could, let's say, be working
Dari bit itu,
lunchtime
suk, suk.
and search for a car on the desktop computer and work, and then maybe go home
Kacau, kacau.
and complete the booking on their mobile phone.
Cium.
So it's
Cium,
important that
cium,
we're
cium.
able to
Ya, ada suara di
determine
tangan
the
lo,
first switch and last switch attribution, and to try and understand how the user is interacting with the system.
Kabur
and
ke tunnel,
try and
kabur.
understand. And we're trying that we look at as well is that we're trying to
Gue
develop
yakin cek deg-degan
consistent
deh.
purchase funnels across
Iya, poler
engines,
gua
right?
berdenyut
So
kencang.
we've tried to build a tagging solution ourselves. And what ended up happening was that the behavioral data got different tags depending on what product engineering team was working on it.
Siap.
So that
Siap.
meant that when we
Siap.
got all the data,
Maybe.
we couldn't make any sense of or gain any understanding of what was happening in each of those product funnels because everyone was different. But what we used Snowplow for was
tunnel,
to
yeah.
kind of unify that across teams so that the same tag meant the same thing across different products, and we were able to bring that together. With that, we were able to increase the unit margin
Sure.
by 5%
Masih siap.
because the customers are converting better, and we were able to produce consistent funnels across the different
Bangsat.
products.
Wah, bisa
In-
pahala lu
in
dia lu
terms
nggak
of
masuk
then
akal aja tuh.
MPT and being able to look at conversion and the unit margin or profitability,
Spirit.
we were able to add the
Tadi,
behavioral
tadi.
data to our A versus B tests. So, for example,
Spirit
when
aja.
a user went to
Ada cek dia berkesan gue cek.
let's say the car insurance
Aduh,
on top of
mati
the
aing.
car, and if we had
Tadi.
different messages
Siap satu.
in there for the car insurance and how the terms and conditions
Dua, siap.
made, compared to versus B and performed.
Corsair
And then we
langsung
can
kepala bro.
understand which
Itu
treatment worked best, and
akal
the
nih.
behavioral data really helps us with that.
Anjing,
I
cek
think
nggak ada bintang.
another piece as well is the behavioral data
Big
can be
shield nol
used
lah cek.
Diam kamu sayang.
to understand
Aku
the
cium, Mam.
UX and kind of which audience. In terms of enriching the data, you can add geo information.
Tama Bray. Beware that.
Awas awas. Lawan lah.
It's easy to add in with Snowflake.
Lebar banget ya terbangnya anjing.
Bangsat, bangsat masih di mid satu.
When they were trying to read the insurance terms and conditions.
High mid masih satu.
And how much interaction did they have?
Ada lagi.
And we also have the ability to recognize repeat visitors as well.
Kalian mempunyai uang?
Awesome. Quick follow-up question to that, Stephen. To what extent did the flexibility of the
Mahal kalau
technology and process around data creation to what extent did
cheat
that
anjing.
actually improve the you just mentioned or improve the business value you were able to generate there?
Oh, so in terms of execution, well, one example in particular is, let's say, we do a lot of machine learning and AI to be able to, do the sort order of cars and help with the pricing of the cars and that. For the different user segments that are coming in. Now, what we needed to do was determine how efficient or was the sort order actually working for the user. So what we were able to do is use the self-describing JSON that comes with Snowplow, and we were able to develop a particular data entity, which is the availability sort order. And in that availability sort order, we were able to determine what cars the user actually interacted with in that sort order. So if they were interacting with all the cars at the bottom, well then there's a problem with that sort order.
Gila nggak
And we
bisa
were
anjing.
able to
Lepas satu cu.
optimize our sort order algorithms to be able to improve that interaction from the users. So that's a particular example of execution and how we were able to use Snowflake.
That's an awesome use case.
Last decide.
To hear use cases. That's awesome. Last question for you, Stephen, on this topic. You referenced earlier the endeavour at CarTrawler to democratize data across
Kenal lu, tapi 81 tuh nggak jelas anjing.
accessible for multiple disciplines. That ability to be able to self-serve, does that have a role in driving business value?
Kawannya.
Oh yeah, well, so there's multiple parts of being able to self-serve. So at the start, it's about the data meaning and understanding and being able to enter that data through TopSpot, because that democratizes the data across the whole business and allows the data owners to really get involved without having to go through SQL. Then another part of that whole democratization piece is we created a tool that sits on top of Airflow that allows users to schedule SQL. So like through the trading department, they're able to work together
apa?
to
Ulangi perkataan Anda.
Musuhnya mati lu.
Ulangi perkataan Anda, woi. Santai.
Looking at
Nunggu lu gua mati lu. Tuh.
Gimana itu?
Dor. HWP dia di door.
Mutas gua anjing. Oh di door.
Serang door.
So
Apa tuh? HWP dia.
Pakai lembab, biasa lembab tadi gue lihat.
The importance of being able to implement data quality rules. Now, when we built a tool ourselves
yang paling berat adalah keluarga. Sadar.
Temennya di Elong.
Gue modarin. Ya kan tadi gue berdiri Azure tuh.
Ya udah temen di Elong nggak flash di situ gak? Mampus tuh.
Oh gara-gara flash.
Go to the market, purchase a tool that helped us with the
Low.
data quality,
Minus
and we were able to
55.
map out the workflow of how the
Bom drop, bom drop.
provide data quality
Yeah,
on
Shot,
the
shot.
back of the SQL that they've scheduled.
Shot masuk.
Tunnel.
Level up.
What happens then is they can simply create the rules in this tool, and then from there they're able to
Baby.
look at how those rules are performing in a nice web
Hari,
interface, and
hari.
so they can really interact with that, and the data owners can
Hari-hari masuk TV.
Awesome, thanks, Stephen. And Nick, over to you. You articulated very well previously the journey that a lot of brands are on, moving from the exhaust sort of approach or necessity towards data creation. Where
Buset.
have you seen the most success in driving business value and making that positive change?
Ayolah,
Apa gimana sih?
dia nge-cheat itu.
Selalu Bil.
Yeah, I think I've seen a number of organizations in different industries have success. I think almost all of them start with one prime use case. And that first use case could be
Ada yang mau
anything.
drop. Udah
But
pas
it's usually
semua,
what-
Pak.
I'm sure Stephen probably remembers the first use case that had a migration
Elang.
to
Elang.
Cek,
register.
ada ini gak? Armor gak?
Yeah, each of those migrations probably was inspired by some problem that he had to go solve. And
Yoi.
so what I
Nice.
find is that regardless what industry you're in,
Bangsatnya bisa.
probably got a
Bisa.
use case right
Anjing ya
now
itu orang
that's
itu.
pushing the
Weh,
boundaries
masih
of
ada
how you
top it.
can think about business. I
Bangke.
think that's
Bisa.
usually the right place to start.
Buset, udah masuk cek.
We think
Bisa
that,
cek.
okay,
Udah lewat.
I mean, the struggling to get the structure together, struggling to model, struggling to source
Wah,
code,
dibantai temen lu.
Ngomong esok masuk, bangsa.
becomes the brittle. I think usually that's a good how can I make this
Orang bisa
you know,
dikit-dikit
ship this
pala
thing?
bangke.
And so once you understand that use case and understand how to get there, and that's something that we help customers with. I know Mick helps a lot of customers with this. That first step is understanding, okay, what is the problem you're trying to solve, and how do you go about solving that, and then potentially looking at what is the foundation to solve that problem, and are there a set of data products that could help deliver that solution. Once you've got that use case, I think you can then use that
Kan si bangsat itu.
and then build out the rest of the infrastructure. And
Men,
what I mean
hit
by that
aja,
is
bangke.
a series of data products that can support the organization. Looking at how you start to add in and build upon that.
Bangsat, banyak ke apinya?
It comes down to having this ability to have a dynamic
Ngentit. Dua kali gue dibakar.
and then build on is something that you have to sort of start from somewhere on, and you'll be surprised at how quickly it becomes the core of your data products. And that's simply because the reusability of this approach. And most of
Evolving,
today,
bangke.
we will sit prior to taking these different approaches to data creation. You actually find you tend up having to build everything from scratch from the same, average data sources, and then try and finagle those and do something with the business. Hopefully solves the business problem.
Kenapa nggak kena pala ya?
Practitioners is being able to take control of how they think about how they create that data, how they aggregate that, and how they begin to present those to the organization.
Tolong.
And I think two things especially happen like the top of this webinar was really about the pressure that data practitioners feel. Some of this there's some nice tricks in here about having but the second time might be taking that data product and adding it to another data source or data product, or simply providing that data product to somebody else. So these approaches also give you as an individual, as an organization, the ability to scale. And then at the beginning I talked about how the business has unrealistic expectations.
Nih, gua ngumpet di sini di wallbang anjing kan.
But there's just a lot of complexity for them to work through, and if you take a methodical approach to creating data products and creating the data to support those, then you'll end up in a position where the business doesn't quite know just how far you can go. And there's this lovely moment you can delight the organization with solving an interesting problem. And I think Steven's example of engagement order. Engagement order.
Gua nggak ngumpet, gua nggak ada ngebakar di situ bang.
Feature that the email could
Kiri cek.
bring it down to the lowest number possible. You know, to do that otherwise.
Selepas sebelah Bray satu Bray.
Lihat ya.
Gua bilang.
This is highly scalable, highly efficient. And
Kalau
really
gua nggak jaga situ dia nggak
understand
ngebakar
that,
masalahnya.
Lower number in that box is better.
Tahu lu dia.
And so that on the ML side is also pretty rare. You know, you're not usually dealing with clean, perfect
Astro
data sets
maybe.
like that. You're usually having to like scale out those data sets, aggregate those data sets, and make those features really understandable. And quite often they're not as understandable as what Steven was able to create. And I think that's a really good example of the power of building, you know, a data grammar that's understandable, but also having the flexibility to create.
Masih udah gua duga ada di short anjing.
Ah bangsat.
And it's that type of that totally practitioners can
Langsung
scale
ngeker
that
anjing.
data.
Apa lu jebrak ada dosa?
Brand juga.
Iya.
So those are some of the great examples of what we see customers do. Just to recap, you know, start with one problem first. Don't try to solve everything. Use that one problem to begin to inform the creation of data products and how you think about building these real-time pipelines and those pieces. And then begin to evolve that to be, you know, your next data product and build on top of each of these.
Kebeli digel kocak gua salah.
Ngasih gua bom, gua paling depan lu. Baru
the catalog of your data products.
Gua pikir dia mau maju.
And send them to more of a self-service type model. And that's really the dream, right?
Buset.
We want to make them slightly adjusted so the
Ada satu ya.
Nembak nggak ada yang kena.
So yeah, it's just trying
88
to
aja.
sense that it's definitely a journey. I think we're right at the beginning of how we're thinking about data and shifting into a mode of data creation where we don't, you know, outsource the schema management to somebody else and try to.
Satu lantinya, woi.
It was at the beginning of that. And I will add that, you know, there's some external forces that are making this even more complex. Some of you are based in Europe, and we know that, you know, Denmark and Italy and a number of other countries, Austria, Germany, they're becoming much more stringent on how you source data and where that data gets.
Bangsat rame 3 biji anjing. 3 biji elik.
One is you're able to guarantee.
Buset dibejak doang begitu lu.
But two, you're able to stay ahead of this regulation.
Bawa lu.
You can quickly adjust your own platform versus waiting for Google or an Adobe to make adjustments to their platforms.
Tahu dia.
Iyalah.
Dia tahu Bray.
That is weird practitioners. You also need to make sure that we can back up pipelines rapidly. Because that is a big difference between how fast your competition can get that insight versus how you can get that insight. And so we do have to consider outside factors as well as internal factors. And again, this type of architecture.
Emang udah di-tire orang-orang jago, Cok. Ngatain situ ya.
Gua yakin Retro mau Pirate citeran.
External lawsuit gets laid and you have to redeploy your architecture to the problem.
Dari tadi
so, again, these are just some great future-proofing tips on how to scale your environment, but also make it
Ada cek dalam cek.
Nge-lag sih.
Bilang ada. Ya Tuhan.
One of the
Gara-gara
most
cek mati
common
nggak tenang
conversations
aing.
we had speaking to brands, especially in Europe, is the
Belakang
tension
himit satu.
between the aspiration to get a deeper understanding of customer, such that it can power these aspirational endeavors like personalization, etc., with the compliance and the privacy and GDPR 2 or whatever it may look like.
Ya dari mana dia menembaknya?
I think we've got a good answer to this question from Stephen already around the AI sort of what we described previously. But I'm curious for your perspective. Are there any use cases or sets of data applications that you think are delivered
Kalau kita main lagi 16-4.
adopt the data creation paradigm?
Yeah, I think in many ways, most of the creation were always and that was just the way the enterprise systems work, right?
Nice.
An OLAP database or OLTP database, they they were able to create a great point in time, but it took work manually
Sebelah kanan dia.
to sort of bring together time series. Whereas now, I think a lot more of how we look at the behavior of organizations, the importance of how customers engage you, is looking at how that time series, how the behavior is affected over time. And so when you shift to data creation, you can effectively create atomic events that are specifically that event at that point in time. And that allows you to create a graph that is very accurate but also time specific. And what's cool about that is examples where traditionally wouldn't be linked together become linked together. So an example we have, you might have heard of Warby Parker. They do glasses. What we do with them is we actually are able to stitch together their in-store application, their web platform, and their AR application into one user journey. And that wouldn't be possible without the specific element of time series in that data to understand the link between those, but also be able to stitch those that audience back up because they were able to create those routes. And I think
Flushing.
those types of examples like today,
Main pada kena otak semua anjing.
it's almost impossible to try and stitch those together without some experience. And that gets very complicated to do. And we're able, because we're able to create custom eventing and bring those
dadakan nggak mau diambil lo.
atomic store, it makes it very quick for us to model that data as well. And the result is you're able to do real-time type personalization, or bring those journeys together for campaign performance optimization, near real time, which is pretty amazing. The other thing I'd say, I didn't want to pitch too much stuff, but we do have a catalog of some use cases that are pretty helpful. So email Mick, he'll send them to you, or you can check out our website, there's some of that stuff on there. But I would generally say almost everything now is shifting the need for understanding of the behavior over time. And if it's not soon, it's happening across almost all different analytics questions I'm seeing getting raised from businesses today.
Awesome. We have a question. We have our first question of this session. I'm conscious we have 5 minutes left and I want to leave time for takeaways, but perhaps we can seek this question very quickly, Nick. So it's from Anonymous. They're asking, as part of a small org, just starting out in our journey, how long would you advise the average journey to this maturity is in terms of ways of working, and how much shorter can you?
Yeah. Well, I think when you're a smaller organization, it's usually one or two of you, and you're working to get things done. So everything's coming in really fast. So I think unguided, generally the path to maturity, I would say it's like I've measured it like time of projects. So I think generally what I've seen is the first 2 or 3 projects, they're like hero dashes, they're hero missions. And probably by the 4th project, like, okay, we've got to get smarter about this because we can't keep not sleeping to solve these projects. And I think projects 4 and 5, you tend to scale out and kind of think more robustly. About project 6, you tend to go through this re-architectural phase. And about project 7, project 8, you're kind of to this point where you now have this platform in place. And I use projects because I think each time you take on a sort of a mission from the organization, you learn something new about what the organization needs to understand, and that learning is invaluable. So my advice on how to accelerate it is in some ways simulate some missions that the organization might want to try drive. Ask the question like, okay, who is the primary entity? What is the primary entity we're trying to orientate around? What are the events around that entity? What are the primary questions we're likely to ask from this data? And really do that workshop, and in some ways try and figure out what those first 4 or 5 projects will be. And then once you've kind of simulated that, then I think you can sort of jump the first architecture step and start thinking about, okay, what data products would make sense to support this organization. And so I know you've probably got projects going on at the same time, but having some of those tips up front can really help a ton in accelerating that. And I think with careful planning, I think you can take it from like taking 8 to 10 projects to get to that sophistication to like
Oh, udah beneran off dia bangki.
Kalahnya membuat kita ini buruk.
Comeback Israel.
Dibantah ya 16-2 nih.
Smoking. Throwing flashbang.
Ada.
Pilih.
GG.
Ya, GG.